I saw all the catastrophic things to come to this world in a dream 3 years ago, and this dream was so vivid and so important that a literal demonic spirit was sent to stop the dream. So now I look around the world and I see all this destruction of every kind imaginable, and it's almost exactly as the dream was that I showed you guys 3 years ago. This is probably the most important video that I've ever made, so ignore this if you choose to, but I can tell you one thing, the end is certainly here. Before we get into the dreams, once again, like I showed you 3 years ago, let's look at the world and look at all the things happening. Disasters, geopolitically, the sun, everything. So first, just in the last 2 days, we've had many huge things take off. We had Russia preparing for crazy threats that they foresaw coming, and at the same time, we had the explosion, the massive explosion that went off in the Moscow region. Then just the next day, literally the next day, we have the Crimea bridge destroyed. This is happening while a Mount Etna is erupting in Italy. And I showed the symbolic parallels between that and Rome falling in 70 AD to where we are right now as Rome. And it shows that all the cards are stacked against us completely. I don't know how anyone could not see it, but it's just not Mount Etna, because a day later, a volcano in Japan was going off. And the same exact day, Yellowstone started going all crazy again and maybe putting itself on the map for maybe an eruption coming. But as I showed you with Russia, they're teaming up with many people in the Middle East. We had a meeting with Egypt. We had a meeting again with Iran. All these people they're making allies with, and we're just over here by ourselves. We really aren't that strong, you guys. And so the allegiance of the Middle East and Russia is getting so strong, and then immediately there's a 6.6 preliminary earthquake in the Middle East, in Turkey. Not even 24 hours later, Turkey is straight up flooding everywhere. 24 hours after that, another location is straight up flooding. Floods all over the earth, massive hail all over the earth. Everything is freaking crazy. All these sightings of this sun looking very weird, all this Saharan dust and this smoke. I mean, just it's literally everything. Science comes out and they give us a picture of the sun. They say the sun is frowning. You know, whether we say that picture is real or not, we can see they're indicating and pointing at something for us. I mean, do you think that these solar flares, do you think these are normal all the time, that CMEs are normal every single week? Do you think it's normal that we have auroras down in the south? There's a reason they're called the northern lights. So the fact that we've been seeing them almost monthly in the South United States shows you something is up. But also what comes with these auroras and these feelings. Feelings of terribleness, double vision, blurry-eyed, zoned out, can't walk, can't sleep, can't think. I mean, my goodness, something massive is at foot right here and people don't see it, and that's the most frustrating part. And while we have Russia getting ready and the Middle East getting ready, we have British Prime Minister and all sorts of people all getting ready for this active thing. Then we had a Truth Social post that went up and mysteriously came down talking about their phone call between the US and Russia. Mysteriously went down, then they were called out on Twitter and it went right back up. But at the same time, I gotta word this carefully, the leader of Russia came out and said there will be no more negotiations because the other side are not nice people. I can't say the actual word on here. Now see, with all these things, when we're about to get into some more, when I remind you of what I was shown in the dream, and see, this dream came about before any of this other stuff. When I first released the dream on TikTok, 75% all said I was crazy. I was wrong. That's fake. That's a lie. You're lying. Even though it's date stamped, you can see it right here. But oh no, you're wrong. It's gonna be over like this. Russia and their problem's gonna be over so quick. And it never was over. As you can tell, I'm trying to hit many things very, very quickly so we can get to the point of this video. You know, I made a video talking about, I think that the sun itself is unaliving. Is it possible that other people were aware that this was gonna happen before this happened? See, I think it's just very coincidental and completely unrelated that there's all this smoke coming down from the fire. I think it's completely irrelevant that at the same exact freaking time, we have all this dust coming in from the Saharan. You know, I took a video of the sun and I showed a massive halo around the sun. Crazy halo. And I was like, what is up with this? I showed the sunspots. It was the sun, but it had halo. And the commenters, don't you think this is because of the smoke? Don't you think that it has the halo because of the smoke? No, I've seen the sun hundreds of times with smoke in front of it, all around it, and never was there a halo, but this time it had a halo, not to mention a very weird color. But then the next day I see this video, this picture right here, and this is quite literally a real photo of the sun. Is this the smoke too? Because you can see clearly two circles, very distinct of each other, layered upon each other, just like the MasterCard logo. You know, you look at ancient Egypt and you see their hieroglyphs and you see that they have this red ball, this deep red ball, almost in every single drawing. And they'll say, oh yes, they're talking about the sun. Are they really? Are they really talking about the sun? To me, it doesn't look like the sun at all. And how about this live stream right here of this lady showing the sun and something else, some orb beside it. And I can show you right here, you can notice that there is quite literally two lens flares. Two objects emitting light. That's how that works. And there are many people that get irritated when they see videos like this pointing out all the things that are happening in the earth right now. But the thing is, would you rather not know? Would you rather just go about your life living for the world and have no idea that any of these things are coming? You know, me and other people who cover this stuff, I have no fear of any of these things. I'm watching it because I know where it's leading. I think many people are fearful because they don't know Jesus, or they're living for the world, or they're not ready, or they're doing all this other stuff, so they want to keep their head buried in the sand as if that's better. But anyone who has been paying attention for longer than a year or two, they understand, they see, as Jesus said, as I quote the third time this week, you can discern the face of the sky and tell the weather that's coming, but you don't know the signs of the times, and you will always need a sign. The only sign you'll get is the sign of Jonah. And who could miss all the strange events with people going literally crazy? I've made 4 or 5 videos about the human brain, that people were going crazy. These massive events where there are casualties are happening every single day. We had one in South Carolina, the next day South Carolina, then Connecticut, all over the East Coast, all over Australia, all over the world, every single day. And I've been trying to show you that something is wrong with the human brain. People are not thinking right, they're more violent, they're more chaotic, they're more angry. Something is wrong with the human brain. And of course, we have the doomsday fish over and over and over and over again. The doomsday fish is a once in a lifetime scenario. No one ever got to see ever the doomsday fish, even in a lifetime, even 10 lifetimes. They're called the doomsday fish because Japanese folklore, because every time they would see the doomsday fish, it was followed by impending doom. And the fact that there was a great void on the radar while this last doomsday fish came out, and it wasn't just a little bit off the ocean, it was way off the ocean. It's giant. We've been seeing them everywhere. All the signs are there. Everything's right in your face. You can choose to see it or you can choose to ignore it, but does not change that that's where we are. So let's get to the dreams now. I'm walking